You are watching the video version of the Marketing Should Be Fun podcast. We are so glad that you are here. If you prefer to listen to podcasts, you can find the Marketing Should Be Fun show on any of your favorite podcast platforms, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else. But most of all, we're so glad you're here, and I hope that you enjoy today's conversation. Well, welcome back to another episode of Marketing Should Be Fun. My name's Austin Savage. I'm here with my good friend and business partner, Kelsey Zarko, and we're so glad that you, our listeners, are here with us. Kelsey, hello. I imagine that it's really warm down there in Texas today, and you're probably enjoying much more sunshine than me, but how are you?
I mean, it is a little cloudy today. We had our week of like the sun and 70s came back and we all came back to life. And then today it's cloudy and we're like, wait. But yes, probably warmer than crazy. You. Altogether, though, I'm doing well and very excited for another episode.
Yeah, I just can't, like my brain doesn't put 70s in the January, February possible sort of category. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good life. I'm telling you, I was born to live here. It just took me like 30 years to figure that out.
You did post like 70 times, I think, on your stories, like the sunshine's giving me life in a much cooler way than what I just said.
You know, it was my main content strategy for the week, sunshine.
Yeah, you got to use what you got, you know, you got to use what inspiration is.
True to my brand.
I love it. I have a sort of this or that for us today, but it's really just you just have to pick something of a limited number of options, but it's kind of your preference.
Is it about Taylor Swift?
Sort of thing. Heck yeah, it's about Taylor Swift.
Is it really? Okay, wait, I'll just let you ask.
It really is. Yes, it really is. So obviously Taylor Swift has been the new, like, not a new household name, but the household name all across the country recently, which is super fun. You know, some people are a little annoyed by that, but some people are really enjoying that. And I know that you are one of those people who are really enjoying this moment for her, which I am as well. I think it's fun. But today's this or that is, again, not a this or that, but what is your favorite Taylor Swift album?
Oh gosh, I needed more time for this. I thought you were going to be like Chiefs or 49ers. I mean, you know that I'm a big Taylor Swift fan because along with Sunshine, that was the only other thing in my social media this week too. Taylor Swift posts. I did buy a sweatshirt that has the NFL logo with Taylor's version written on it, and I am ready for the Super Bowl. No, I do love Taylor, but I've also been a Kelsey Brothers fan for a long time, so I'm just here for all of it.
Fair.
Okay, favorite album. Oh gosh, I honestly, this is such a stressful conversation. Okay. I'm going to say...
I'm waiting for you to be like, the one that this song is on.
I was thinking that. I'm going to say 1989, I think.
Okay. Ugh. Awesome.
Man,
you didn't feel good about that. You didn't feel good about it.
I feel like that's kind of like, which is your favorite child? Like, you just can't answer that question. I don't know. My sisters will be so disappointed when they listen to this. Part of the reason I'm such a big Swiftie now is because my younger sisters are, I think probably a lot of our listeners, they might not know this, but I'm the oldest of 9. I have younger sisters who are like quite a bit younger than me, big Swifties. They've turned me into one. I'm trying to be cool to stay up with, you know, the lingo and to be able to talk to them. But I do like 1989. I also like when I went to the movie, I forgot how much I loved like her Red album and just like all of the songs that were on there. I hadn't listened to those for a while. So
yeah.
And then there's also the good old, like, When You Think Tim McGraw, you know, like way back when those songs were coming out when I was in college. So that'll age me. Anyway. Okay. I've talked enough about Taylor Swift. I'm stopping now.
It is a hard decision. That's fair. I also feel like I've been like super sarcastic so far in this episode, so I like need to tone it back. I don't know what I'm doing.
Stop hating on my Sunshine Taylor Swift.
I don't know.
What is your favorite album? Do you have one?
I do have one. Folklore is my favorite album, which I don't know if that's like, I don't know where that falls in the minds of most Swifties. I don't know. But it is my favorite. I put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it on often when I'm working. I really enjoyed. I think there's actually a collaboration with Bon Iver on Folklore, but I think there's also one on Evermore. But I really like the one, the song Exile on Folklore. And all of those.
Nice.
I just listen to a lot of like sleepy folk music when I'm working. So like it kind of fits into that vibe pretty well.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It's very vibey. I like it. Okay, this is the last thing I'll say about Taylor Swift. Probably not. It's probably a lie. But there's just so many it's like just fun reels and like bits that are going around this week. But there was this one I saw this morning that you should definitely go look up if you're listening to this episode. And it was a girl that was like, this is Taylor Swift's Tokyo concert before she has to get on the flight back to the Super Bowl. And she like sped all the songs up and did all the outfit changes and like sang different songs from each album. So when I was thinking through the albums, I was thinking of her reel, but it's so funny. She just puts on all these different outfits, sings like little clips of each song, and it's sped up like super fast. And it was great use of content.
You'll have to send that to me. That's funny. Maybe you did already send it to me. I hope that you didn't.
I did. I felt like I used my fill of Taylor Swift for the week, so I did not send it, but I will.
Yeah, we did use a couple Taylor Swift memes for clients, which was fun.
Yes, we sure did.
You know, got to take advantage of the moment.
That's right. But I was here for it.
Didn't fit for everybody, but for some, you know.
But for the ones that it did, we made sure to use it.
It did work. That the email from one of our clients that had it in there, it did real well.
It converted quite a bit. So I'm here for it.
Yeah. Thank you, Taylor. We appreciate that. All right. So today, for what we actually want to talk about on today's episode is a tool called ManyChat. This is in I'd say like in recent months, but really over the course of the last year.
Yeah.
Has like gradually become more and more part of the conversation, especially on like Instagram primarily is where I'm seeing this used, but it can be used across a wide variety of social platforms. But is a tool that we've also started using for a few of our clients at the start of this year, and have seen some really cool things from it. So Kelsey, I'm going to throw it to you first. For some of our listeners, you know, they may know like, oh, I've heard of ManyChat. This is kind of what it is. For some people listening, they might be like, what is this? And this foreign language that you're speaking. And so for just give us like the rundown of like, what is it? You know, why have we started using it this year? We'll go from there.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, the official like wording is that it's chat marketing, automation, chat marketing, but it's what you're seeing when somebody says, for example, you know, here's this reel with all of my living room shown and comment link, and I'll send you the link for everything. And then immediately you get a DM with that link. And so it's taking someone's message and being able to set up an automation where when one action is taken, another action is then sent. So it's kind of a workflow of sorts on the back end. So that's kind of the short version of what it is. Like you said, it can work for so many different platforms, but primarily how we are using it currently and how we are seeing it is, like you said, on Instagram. And primarily the cool thing that we're seeing and why people are starting to use this is because it is making those actions and those like calls to action so much simpler for your audience. Yeah. So instead of having to tell them like, hey, click the link in my bio, or hey, go here and then click this, all you're doing is saying, you know, comment this word, and then everything goes right to them. And so it really shortens the cycle of all the steps they have to take and just makes it easy. And as it becomes more prevalent and as more people are using it, people are also just getting used to it. And so then it's just an easy way that people feel safe to just type a word, get a message, easy peasy.
Totally. I mean, I think the kind of like wide adoption of this tool and tools like it. I know that there are, you know, some others kind of coming on the scene, but you know, like we see just more and more people, you know, not just influencers, but like companies and you know, like all sorts of different accounts, you know, starting to use this tool, and it does like. It is a game changer from a user experience perspective, and even just like a connection with an account. You know, like even though you know that it's automated, like it still feels personal to like receive a message from, you know, an account that you follow. And so it's like a really, I mean, a big game changer to just make it easy, you know, rather than having to search someone's like link in bio page or, you know, something like that for, you know, like you just said, you know, it's so nice. You just I mean, you literally just get a link or, you know, whatever it is, you know, directly in your inbox. You go directly to, you find exactly what you're looking for, and you increase connection in the process. It's been really cool. And I think, I mean, you and I, you know, did some digging at the end of last year to just kind of look deeper into the tool, and it's like really simple. I mean, to manage, and you know, once you get it set up, I feel like it's pretty user friendly. Would you agree?
Yeah, I actually was thinking that when you were just talking about the system of it all. It is for like a new program or opportunity that comes on the scene. I feel like it's very intuitive. Doesn't take a whole lot of setup or, you know, jumping through hoops. It does what it says it's going to do. Like there's always that moment when, you know, you click like something and you set it up for someone and you're like, I really hope this does what it says it will do, and it'll send the right link. But it has lots of just great, you know, you can preview things, you can test them. It's just a well done piece of work for sure.
Yeah. I think like another cool feature that it has too, that makes it really convenient is like you can set up automations so that it's like on the next post that goes out, you know, if it's like comment guide and, you know, this is the automation that will run, or this is, you know, the DM that someone will receive. But you can also set them up to just be like, anytime I use, you know, anytime someone comments this word on any post, you know, this is kind of what happens, which opens up some doors, I think, for a lot of brands, like, especially if you have something that you're promoting regularly.
Yes, over
you know,
and over.
It's something you set an automation up once, and any post that you make in the future where you say like comment, I don't know what, you know, apply or something, you know, like you're able to just know that automation is going to run on any post that kind of needs that next step, which is really helpful, I think, for a lot of brands.
Yeah, you can customize it and just make it what you need it to be. And I think that is where there's a lot of power behind it. And like you said, being able to set one word. I mean, we've seen this work so well for several of our clients where they kind of have a main call to action mixed in with all the other pieces of value that we're sharing. And so once that one workflow is set up, I mean, you can just use it all the time. And I've also noticed that it seems like the pieces of content we're using it on just have a really long shelf life. And we see that too. It's not just ManyChat. I mean, Reels has definitely just changed the game on that some, but it's so great that you can, you know, set that up. And then a reel that I, you know, might have shared 3 weeks ago for a client is still getting traction and still being able to, you know, we see people come in commenting on that reel with that word, and that workflow is still working. And so it's just really neat to see how it all pieces together.
Yeah. Honestly, since we did start using ManyChat for some of our clients, it's the first time that I've ever, because I know you have Instagram notifications turned off on your phone. I do not. And this is the first time that I have actually considered doing it, because I keep getting notifications from random like client accounts that it's just like, this person commented guide, this person commented guide, this person commented plan, this person commented date. You know, it's just like all of the like just constant.
Yes.
And I mean, it's just like, that's the sort of organic level of my experience of it, of like, I'm seeing more comments, you know, come in, but we literally are like, the amount of comments that we're seeing have like drastically increased for some people on like a quote unquote small scale, and for some people on a larger scale, which I guess we can get into, but you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I literally don't know how you live with your Instagram notifications on, but I support you.
I don't know.
I wish that we would have I should go figure out the percentage increase, because, you know, like you said, some of it, it's more of a small scale, some a large scale, but I will take every single win, because, you know, we have an example of a client who maybe, I think we've talked about this before. We have a client who shares more like personal marriage stories. And so it's very rare for someone to maybe like want to publicly engage with that content, because it can almost feel like, well, if I, you know, engage here, it's kind of sharing, you know, that maybe I'm in the same boat. Right. But this has just made it so much easier for like a quick word for them to comment, and then they can get that resource. So for someone who had like no comments on a post to go to getting like 9 or 10, I mean, that's a huge increase. And if you think about effectiveness and percentage, and then of course we have another client who regular comments were super normal for her, but now we're getting like literally like 300,
hundreds.
500.
Yeah, I was going to say
so many.
Before, I think we were seeing like 30 to 40 per post, like max, and literally 300 has been like normal.
Yeah. And I would say 30 to 40 comments on a reel, like most of you listening, like we were so happy with that. You would be happy with that. Like it wasn't as common for people to engage and have to come up with like their own comment or like to take the time to like think about, I mean, this is kind of sad, but like, what they wanted to say. But when you give them that easy step, that easy invitation that makes it just simple for them to engage with your content, people are happy to take it. And so that's where we're seeing, the skyrocketing numbers of 400, 500, 600. Hey, I'm here. I want to engage with your content. You just made it easier for me. And so now I can. And to kind of scale the conversation more towards what we're seeing. Yes, the first conversation a lot of our clients started having, was asking about like conversion rates and like, if I send this link, will they buy this thing? And yes, we are definitely seeing that too. But I would encourage you to think through this. And what we've thought through with our clients is, number one, yes, it's a great runway towards conversions for sure. It's an easy, direct path. But we're also seeing Instagram noticing the huge increase in engagement. So then their content is getting put in front of so many more people. It's just all working together. You're getting direct, messages into people's accounts. So that's making them see your content all the time when they're opening their app. I mean, we're seeing follower growth increase. It's just, it proves the point that like content marketing is all connected. And so we don't just need conversions. We don't just need followers. We don't just need engagement. But when you have all of them working together, you start to see huge explosion in momentum, which has been so exciting to see.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the shelf life of content that like we're seeing kind of ManyChat play into a little bit as well. And I mean, I think that is a huge reason, it's like when people are just consistently commenting and commenting and commenting, like right now, and, it obviously could change in the future, but right now that is, still signaling to, a platform like Instagram, like, hey, keep showing this post to people because, they like it. And I think for that second client we mentioned, those reels that have, used things like that are those are the ones that we've seen cross the million download mark for like how many views that they've had,
for sure.
Which is all sort of, kind of played together. So, I mean, it's been a game changer, and we keep encouraging like more and more of our clients. We're like, this is absolutely something to try because, we are seeing it work, and there's a reason that we keep seeing, especially like larger accounts and larger like influencers as well, starting to use things like that because it really is, we're across the board, we're seeing more people take action in this way in comparison to, the way we would typically ask people to take action on Instagram specifically before.
Yeah. I think you see, we've been doing this for several years, and you see trends change and kind of human behavior shift and change. Yeah. And right now the human behavior is just that we are used to click, type a word, get something like, and whether or not we want to play into the whole conversation on instant gratification or not, it's just the way that human behavior is shaped right now on social media. Right. And it's just a way that you can provide value to your audience in a simple way. Our attention spans are shorter. People are hopping in and out of conversations. And we've talked before about like, people are not always just going to take a linear path to whatever you are leading them towards. They're going to check their phone in the middle of a meeting, or they're going to, pull up their Instagram in the carpool. And so you're just making it so much more approachable for them. And I think we're just seeing people become more and more comfortable with this sort of action. And so it's just a really low risk way to, put it into your content strategy. It isn't, a huge adoption skill, that you have to like learn and figure out. It's really pretty user friendly.
Yeah. Thinking about the human behavior, I was just thinking about like my own sort of use of it. And I don't think I've actually noticed this until now, but I think the other, really helpful thing about delivering content to people via their direct messages is that like, it also makes it easier for like me as a user to like save things because, like you mentioned, if I'm waiting to pick up a kid from school and I'm, just passing, 10 minutes by looking at Instagram or whatever, it's not as easy to like because if you're trying to open something in a browser, like it opens in like the Instagram browser,
Right.
and it just like it gets weird, and then it's like
and none of your info is saved, and you can't buy something in Instagram. You got to open it here. I know, it's a whole thing,
right? So it's like so much easier too if you're like, oh, this is something really interesting, instead of like having to bookmark it and then go find your bookmarks and then like sort of like look for it that way. It is a very easy way to express interest in something and know where you could find it again as well, which I think is a big piece of that human behavior kind of side as well.
That's so true. That's a good point. I hadn't really thought through that. I mean, you can even search your DMs, and so that's super easy to go back and find things too. I love that.
So Kelsey, I know, with any sort of new shifts that happen or new opportunities, sometimes there is some pressure, I think, that we sometimes feel of like, I have to try, this new thing. So as we kind of close out the episode, what's one final like word of encouragement that you have for our listeners in that regard?
Yeah, totally. I think we've felt this often of like, I got to keep up. I got to remember all the new things. I got to jump onto the bandwagon. And just a reminder that you don't have to. You can take it at your pace and you can do what you're doing. And you remember the basics about content performing on a human level and building trust with your audience and giving them value. But I would just say, if I've looked at the new things that have come in even the past, 3 years or so that we've worked together, this is such a low risk, low hanging fruit, super simple one to start incorporating. It's just not, it's not going to hurt to try. It's also okay if you try and you get crickets one time. Like, remember that it's not just like immediate success overnight. There's never a tool that's going to be that silver bullet. But this is just a really super approachable one that I would encourage you to try when you're ready and just, see what might happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think a good reminder too, just like in that regard, is, we mentioned that client who's seen the jump from like 30-ish comments to like 300. But beyond that has been years of building a brand that people wanted to engage with.
Yes.
And, so there's this, whole road of like, of building interest and interest and interest and interest and interest, so that, when we made it easier for people to take action on that interest, it was already there, right? Like it had already been built up. So, that this tool doesn't take away the content marketing principle of like, it takes time to build trust. But it is, such a great way to capitalize on that trust as it is being built. So
yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely. I think of it like a fire. Like, your content marketing strategy is like the kindling. You're laying the kindling, you're never stopping. But ManyChat's a great way to just throw a spark in there and just kind of see a new flame light up, get some new momentum going. And it's been really, really successful so far for us.
I love it. All right. Well, there's your overview about ManyChat and Taylor Swift. Can't forget the real hero of the episode. And we hope, as always, that you have a great week. And we'll see you right back here on the next episode of Marketing Should Be Fun.